Good morning, folks. How are you doing? So I'm back in the woods again after my little jaunt down to the beautiful wilds of Dorset. And I think I'm looking a little bit wilder myself since the trip down there. And I have been thinking a little bit about holidays and breaks and, the work-life balance. And I'm sort of thinking that a lot of people, they work very hard and only get a very small proportion of holiday or free thinking time amongst that. And I was just thinking, imagine if we all devised a life where we didn't have to have a holiday from. Imagine if we woke up every morning to a life that we embraced and we didn't do things just for money or just for the hell of it, or all the responsibilities that we take on in our everyday lives, our routines, which can keep us grounded as well, of course. But I think more and more people are sort of questioning the structures of the world, of the work-life thing. And there's a refreshing number of channels on YouTube about people who have got out of the system. They're either van lifers or they're living on a homestead or living much more off the land with the animals. And it's just, it's great that so many people are waking up to different ways of living. I know people who have lived on boats. I myself have lived in a horse box and also a yurt for a small period. And I think it is a really great thing to try these different ways of living. And also what I did notice, I did mention a bit about the off-grid thing when we stayed in the safari tent. You're much more in tune with when it gets light, when it gets dark, how the weather is. You feel much less detached. And I saw recently, there's a little meme about the Bushmen of the Kalahari. I've been fortunate enough to spend time with them. And in fact, I have 1% of my DNA, which is Kalahari Bushwoman. So it's no wonder I love nature. But what it was they were conversing with somebody who's visiting the desert, the Kalahari. And basically they were saying to somebody, don't you hear the stars singing? And they were absolutely shocked that this person, this Westerner, didn't hear the singing of the stars. Because, it's those sorts of things, the sounds of the earth, the birds chirping. And also, tuning into the resonance, the frequency of the stars and the star beings. It's an incredible thing to do. I've only ever once heard the earth actually rotating, and it sounded a little bit like a singing bowl. And that was very special to me, and I won't forget that experience. So anyway, I think I'm going off at a bit of a tangent, but I think what I'm basically saying is there are many ways to live. And somebody told me that what's going on astrologically, I'm not an astrological expert, but I think what's happening is a lot of people are resetting their lives, looking at things in a more natural way. The old systems, the old paradigms of things like Tasha talked about institutional narcissism. All of this stuff, it's being exposed, isn't it? And people do talk about, in some of these alternative communities, about going from the 3D to the 5D. And I think they've always coexisted myself. It's getting a bit windy here, so I don't know if you'll hear me. And really, there are the natural laws, the natural weather. Look, the wind's coming up now. I'm subject to that. There are the laws of nature, aren't there? The important natural laws that happen. So, yeah, we need to rethink, reassess how we live, the way we live, how we relate to each other. And I think it's really, really important at this time that we don't give too much energy to those structures that are actually crumbling as well. Although, obviously, it still really matters to me about this World Heritage thing. And I'm finishing a film on it. And we had the most beautiful ceremony yesterday. It was a Native American ceremony right at the base of the tour. And it really did feel like the ancestors, like the spirits, were listening to our prayers. We had a peace pipe that we passed around and that we shared. And we shared the stories of who we were and also how much the land means to us. And sharing in circle like that is immensely powerful. So I'm very grateful for these kinds of experiences that I'm having, and I hope I have many more of them. And those words, there are many ways to protest. You know, even by creating the life that you want, that is probably the biggest protest, the biggest, you know, cutting out the things you don't want. That is probably the biggest thing you could probably do in your life, isn't it? What are your thoughts about changing your lifestyle? Or it may not be a location, it may just be how you live from day to day, having greater awareness. I'm just reaching the point where the dogs want to have a little run around. So thank you so much for watching. I'm not even quite sure what this video will be called. Maybe it'll be called Creating the Life That You Don't Need a Holiday From. How about that? You take care. Thanks so much for watching. And tell your friends about Amanda Ambles. I love doing this channel. If there's anything, I am going to be doing some more health matters things coming up soon. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.